mentioned, those last three, students selected as the last three according to this survey really wanted students to mention what they want from the Career Center specifically. In this regard, a lot of our students within this college get those opportunities elsewhere through advisors, through club organizations, through different outlets. So knowing that students already have those opportunities, they want this organization, this facility to focus on something that they can't get somewhere else.
We then looked at the use of walk-in hours that students projected that they would use. We know that the Career Center already offers walk-in hours, but we saw that most students would use it maybe once a month or once a semester, as opposed to weekly or bi-monthly. Another quarter of the students would either use it very diligently or would use it once a semester or rarely. We are hoping that the students that chose walk-in hours once a semester or rarely were students that were more likely to schedule meetings with their advisors and with the people that work in the Career Center.
And this next question addressed which methods of communication that the students would like information to come from the CALS Career Center. We again had them rank them on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being as most desired, 5 being least desired. So from our data, email was the most desired method of communication, followed by Facebook and then the website. Instagram and Twitter are pretty down low on the scale of things. This doesn't necessarily mean that using these social networking sites won't be useful in the marketing strategy.
So from all of the results that we were able to gather from the students that dedicated a little bit of time to responding to our survey, we put together a couple of recommendations that we would really like to see implemented in the Career Center, and we see them as being very successful. So our first is to develop a bi-monthly newsletter to be distributed to the students. Next up would be increasing our presence on social media. We really want to develop those most desired services, those very highly ranked services, such as job search and interview preparation. And then last but not least is really increasing our presence in classrooms and clubs with a personal outreach of sharing experiences. So onto that personal outreach. So this is really critical in getting students interested in the Career Center and coming in and seeing what opportunities are offered based on hearing about experiences that students are currently getting from visiting the Career Center. So in this case, we have students come in and provide little kind of shout outs to the Career Center, a little bit of information about something that they've gotten from it, maybe an interview preparation that they experienced during a club meeting, during a class, just a really brief little explanation, maybe hand out some pamphlets about the Career Center. And then having those information sessions is really critical in getting it to those students that are really interested in coming and learning a little bit more about what the Career Center has to offer. So one of our greatest ideas has been a grand reopening event. So this would be a really big kickoff celebration to showcase everything that's been happening behind closed doors before under the construction. So students definitely have a lot of questions about what's been going on, and they want to see all of the new changes. And we actually have a photograph of what the Career Center is going to be looking like. And so in this kickoff event, we want to have light refreshments and information pamphlets to hand out, and then staff and other students there to engage the participants in coming and checking out the available opportunities. So this would be a really great way to get students in the door and hopefully having them come back.
And this grand opening event will take place in the fall and will be open to all CALS students.
So the online newsletter, we actually do already have a really awesome newsletter that goes out to all CALS students. It's every Monday morning, the Monday morning newsletter. But this would be kind of an addition to that. So this would be a really short, brief little tidbit that's distributed twice monthly to students' email accounts. And this would have a lot of visual graphics and very minimal information just to provide just a little bit of information on events and activities coming up. So they are kind of inclined to choose to click on hyperlinks and things like that to get a little bit more information. So this would be an additional to the Monday morning newsletter.
And one big distinction between the Monday newsletter and this Career Center newsletter. It would of course be up to the authors, but we're suggesting that the biggest thing that to distinguish the newsletter would be that the Career Center newsletter only focuses on those desired services that students want to get from the center.
In addition to sending out the bi-monthly newsletter, we did look into different ways to reach students through social media. Now, a lot of students rated Instagram and Twitter low on their priorities, but we saw a great opportunity for both students and staff to post pictures and tidbits of information about what's going on with the CALS Career Center.
This goes along with the personal outreach that students have been, this goes along with the personal outreach section of our recommendations. And one thing that Kashja was saying, Twitter and Instagram really was ranked one of the lowest on desired methods of communication. But as being college students, we know that it's really easy for students to talk amongst one another, to tag each other in photos. And a way that the Career Center can get involved in those two platforms is having more pictures taken at Career Center events, at an internship a student gained through the Career Center. And that's another way to promote all of the services.
It also gives the Career Center easy feedback. You can see likes and comments instantly. Students are a little less hesitant to write comments on Instagram and on Twitter than they are to email an advisor back about a question that was in, say, the bi-monthly newsletter. It's just a really great opportunity for the Career Center to kind of reach out to students in a way that's not as formal, and it really shows them how students are engaged with the Career Center.
This last recommendation is we really would recommend that the CALS Career Center focus on those top ranked, really desired services that the students ranked, namely help with job searches, interview prep, maybe holding mock interviews, resume review and networking events, and also help with filling out applications, be it for jobs or scholarships or anything like that. Our idea is that if you really focus on the services that students really were that really wanted, that really ranked highly, then you'll get them coming into the Career Center, and maybe you'll pique their interest in the other services offered, such as leadership opportunities or opportunities to get involved within the college itself.
An estimated budget was made based on the recommendations that were mentioned before.
So this budget, we proposed a budget for fall semester only. The reason we did that is because all of our recommendations are really contingent on how those things play out in the fall. So we broke it down into two main sections. Our biggest expense will be the grand opening event. That is to say, if the Career Center staff would like to take that event on. The bulk of the cost will come from food and drinks, and promotional materials are a necessity to really bring in all of the hundreds of students within the college. The second largest expense for this will be a student worker. We are proposing that we hire a student worker, 1 to 2 student workers, to really take on the brunt of the social media outreach and to help create events throughout the semester. The student workers would be paid about $8.50 an hour for about 10 hours a week.
And just to clarify, there's a small typo in there. So it would just be paid internship. It would not be for credit.
That concludes our presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
So what was the % response on your questionnaire or your survey? You said you got a little over 200 people. How many did you send it out to?
We sent it to the listserv, which includes all of the students within CALS, and I believe that's
2,000?
Yeah, and so we had about 268 responses. So we were shooting for 300, so it was close to our mark, but